Chapter 18. Polly goes back to the windmill. "It's no use screaming for help," Mr. Gum told Polly as Billiam dragged her through the rainy streets of Lamonic Bibber. "So don't try it again." He grinned ferociously, leaning so close into Polly's face that she could see every single fly in his beard. "Not unless you want Billy here to feed you a nice big plate of steaming cold entrails, that is." "And trotters," added Billy. "I just received a new shipment of trotters. Fancy some, do ya?" "Let's shut her up," sneered Mr. Gum, and on they marched in grim silence, on through the wind and the rain and the cold, past the high street where the shops stood closed, their shutters drawn against the coming storm, on past the railway tracks where crazy Barry Fungus lived in his silver bird cage. "Tweet, tweet, I'm a lovely little chaffinch," he called out hopefully. But there was to be no birdseed for crazy Barry Fungus that evening. Instead, Billy William kicked a load of mud into his face, and on they marched. Overhead, thunderclouds were moving in, great big purple-black ones like those bruises you sometimes get on bananas or rugby players. The storm was on its way. "Just like that storm what done killed Nicholas de Twinklecakes' family," thought Polly with a cold shiver. Was old Granny right? Was the past repeating itself? Was the past repeating itself? Was the past repeating itself? And on they marched. Afterwards, Polly hardly remembered anything of that terrible journey. All she had were vague images, the horrid churning mud at their feet, Billy tugging at the meaty old rope to hurry her along, hundreds of crunchy little leopards floating down the river in a postman's hat, terrified out of their tiny cereal minds, Mr. Gum laughing as a bolt of lightning got Billy William in the leg, even though he was meant to be Billy's friend. How they made it to the windmill Polly never knew, but eventually, soaking wet and splattered with mud, there they were, standing before the windmill's dreadful gaze, even though it didn't have any eyes. Oh, what a terrifying sight it was! Hideous ravens and crows looped and whirled round its sails, screeching like the devil's travelling bird circus of doom. Rats peered out from every nook and cranny, spitting and burping up bits of sick all over the place, and her daddy Longlegs sat cockily on the doorstep as if to say, "Evil has taken over, and I'm the new king of the world." Then a starling ate it. But worse than any of this were the thunderclouds gathering over the windmill, gathering themselves into an enormous face, and that face was twisted up with so much anger and hatred that even Mr. Gum was impressed.
"Good evening,"
said the terrifying face of clouds gigantic in the dark skies above.
"Guess what? I am Nicholas de Twinklecakes, and I have come back through time to watch as Lamonic Bibber burns. Plus, I just fancied having a look around at the 21st century, and it looks absolutely rubbish."
"Well, you're wrong, you insane bundle of clouds," shouted Polly bravely. "It's totally brilliant, and we got the internet and stuff, so shut up."
"No, you shut up,"
thundered the face, snotting out a massive lightning bolt, which Polly only just managed to dodge.
"Ha ha ha!"
Nicholas's mad laughter boomed through the heavens, though he himself belonged only in hell, or perhaps inside a special prison for naughty giant faces made of weather. And he was still laughing as Mr. Gum and Billy crossed a rickety wooden bridge, dragging Polly along behind them. "At last," whispered the power crystals, glowing bright against the darkness. "We're finally going back to the windmill where we were made."
"That's right,"
boomed Nicholas de Twinklecakes.
"Thanks for all your help, Mr. Gum."
"No problem, Knickknacks, me old trifle," laughed Mr. Gum. "You don't mind if I call you Knickknacks, do you?"
"I do mind a little bit," admitted Nicholas. "Please try not to do it again. Now go and make my amazing curse come true."
"No problem, Knickknacks," grinned Mr. Gum, and with that he snurfled through the dark doorway and into the windmill. Billy Williams snooded in after him, and Polly had no choice but to follow.